We should put on the agenda.
Put it on
We
the
should-
agenda.
we should
There
put
was a
on the agenda.
there was a malfunction in the,
No, but even on our agenda, Peter, to remind ourselves, we just put in parentheses by call to order. We should just put R for record.
I guess that should be there.
So Pete, would it make,
In big letters, pay attention to protocol.
Pete, should we be going out and taking a look at that quote pile of rocks and see, you know?
We
the
did
tree-
take a look at it on the bridge day.
Okay. Yeah, and
And a decision was made by those in attendance that we should tell them to, at the convenience of the town and the crew, to just remove that obstacle. But we would not have a problem if it didn't get done this year, and then it took several days for someone to get out there with a small truck and get in there and plow it. So I apprised Troy of that, and so he's, I guess, going to get at it when they can, and if they can. There's only one tree there and a pile of rocks. There were some rocks there. I asked them to, rather than dump them somewhere, put them across the road and add them to the wall that's already there, but leave an opening through the wall where the trailhead for the new parcel, the potential possible new parcel would be leaving from. So that may or may not get cleared out this fall. But in any case, the parking lot at some point should get cleared. And okay, yeah, we should look
the
into
trail
it.
crossing signs is something I was supposed to look. I was going to look and see if we had any catalogs for standard road signs. And that is the one that fell through the cracks that I was supposed to be following up on. So I'll take a look and see.
There's probably some signed catalogs in the file cabinets, but they're probably dated and.
Right, but at least they
Probably-
give me some company names that I could
Yeah, right,
research.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So that's still hanging fire too. That's
Yep.
fine.
I was just going to mention the other thing under that category is that we did reblaze the Talmadge
Oh,
Spur
yes.
Trail.
Yes,
Right,
yes.
yeah.
Yeah, after we built the bridge, Kathy and Chris and I walked around with buckets of paint and and reblazed the whole rest of the Talmadge connector there. So we figured we're out there, we had to paint. So anyway, I don't know what time we finished, 3 o'clock or something like that. But
Yeah, but it went pretty quickly.
yeah, it did,
Three of
yeah,
us, yeah.
yeah. I ate the bristles off an old paintbrush for a snack while we were out there. So I did.
I was gonna say, did anybody bring any food with it? If I'd
Yeah.
only known, you should have
Yeah,
given
I
me
think
a call.
we each had a granola bar before we headed out, so we were good. Park and preserve maintenance responsibilities and costs for the future. All right. Kathy and I will be meeting with Erica this coming Friday and discuss options for that. For that issue about taking over. Just at this point, the note I sent off to her, so we didn't want to talk about that the commission has worked hard over many years to preserve several hundred acres of preserves and miles of access trails that receive thousands of visits a year by folks from Willington, and mentioned the fact that Fenton Ruby Park and open space was at the top of the list of things citizens liked and appreciated in Willington, as they expressed in when we had the town hearings and forums seeking input when the new POCD was redone. And so some of the responsibilities I just enumerated at this point, just to get things going, and trail maintenance, bridge boardwalk construction, clearing storm blowdowns, periodic boundary marking of all town-owned parcels, periodically visiting the many smaller properties that are either town-owned or town-held easements, brushing and mowing open field areas to maintain habitats as prescribed, and saying that, we've been doing it a lot of years, and it's more than the commission wants to be taking on at this point. So anyway, we got an appointment. We'll sit down and we'll start brainstorming and kicking the topic around this coming Friday. Okay, collaborative, town development. I don't know of anything new. We don't have our eyes and ears to the ground and out and about from Bob tonight. Does anybody else have any information on anything from the other boards? Collaborative organizations, I don't have anything from anybody out and about there either. I don't know if anyone else does.
I have a quick question.
Sure.
Under collaborative organizations, please remind me what WPR is. WCCC.
I don't know.
Or maybe it's WRP, Wyndham Regional. Isn't there a?
Well, there's the concept.
WRA, that's Wyndham Region. What is that one? WRA.
Willing River Alliance.
Oh,
That's
where's
the
the
River
other?
Alliance. But
That's right.
what's WPR?
I don't know.
Been
Isn't
putting
there
it
a
down
Wyndham
here so long.
I know, I couldn't remember. I was like, what is that?
I don't either.
I don't know, but isn't there a Wyndham Regional something or other that used to get reports, or were invited to events of? I can't remember.
Yeah, I think
The
it's
Wyndham
the
River Alliance, Willimantic River Alliance, I think,
Yeah.
is not terribly active at the moment,
Yeah.
as far as I know.
The
Maybe we should
WPR,
check
is
it.
that Willington Parks and Rec or?
Oh, maybe. That could be. Good thought, Jeff.
Question.
All right.
We'll go back.
It's
I'll
been
see
so
if I-
long. We'll have to go back and open the tomes from, the minutes from back, I don't know how many years. We'll send someone down to the vaults and research what
We'll
we
have to go
can
down
do.
to the vaults, although we do have 2 folders on 1 year. We have 2 sets of minutes for 1 year and no minutes for a couple of other years, and we're missing a bunch of annual reports. So I think organizing the files is something that's I should put that on the bottom. I think Kathy, I'd like to see about, and as we're transitioning and people are trying to get rid of the records that they have and want to get out of their house, maybe this would be a good time to do some organization of the files and make sure we have complete records. So in the process, we might look and see if there are any references to some organization that looks like it should have those initials in some prior minutes.
I've used the minutes as the template, and that's always been there. So I just, for a lot of years, it's been there, so I've left it.
Yep.
I'll go back to some earlier minutes at some point. Something to do over the winter, maybe when we're all forced back inside because of COVID again.
Yep. All right, membership. Julia has resigned and as a regular member, and Mark has resigned as an alternate member. So we have some openings. So we've got some opportunity to move some alternates up. Nora, are you interested in becoming a regular member? A fast promotion. I mean, essentially.
My God, I feel so special. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I can come to the meetings every month, but I don't know how much more I can give right now with school.
Yep.
It's crazy. School's crazy.
Well, yeah,
So.
I know. I don't envy those of you on those front lines that are trying to manage that. But no, there's nothing more that you'd have to take on more than really than, what you're doing now in terms of getting kicked up to a regular member, if someone's missing but if you want to think about that, but it's the opening's there and
So there's one opening.
one opening, yeah. And at some point, and probably the next year at some point, then I'll be making another opening.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
no,
All right, let
Patty
me,
would be a candidate for that.
right. All right, let me think about it.
Okay, yeah. That's fine, okay. Membership, all right, officers for 2022. Kathy is going to be taking over the reins. She's been hankering for the corner office suite there for a long time, and now
Yeah, really.
Trying to elbow you out.
and Carol at this point will be taking on, will be continuing to keep track of the beans. We're still lacking a vice chair and a secretary.
Oh, you know
So
what?
that's,
There's something, oh, that would be new business, never mind.
okay. Schedule for 2022, we talked about that, maybe moving that, but I think talking to Kathy about her schedule best for her, and that one of the concerns was our meeting relative to Board of Finance, and which was an inconvenience sometime in this last year when we were doing a lot of money issues with regard to the Talmadge, but I don't foresee that we'll have those kinds of issues. So it looks like maybe that the third Wednesday would continue to be best for all involved at this point.
Okay. Sounds good.
If that's okay, we'll just stick with that.
Do we need a motion? I don't think so. Or just
Well, I
consensus?
I would move we continue to hold our meetings on the third Wednesday of each month.
I'll second that.
All right, any discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions. The dates are, I've worked out, I've put them down on written them down. They're all very close to what we have this year. The November one is well before Thanksgiving. December one is, well, it's going to move to the 21st, but that's 4 days ahead of Christmas, and the others look like they're probably okay. So those need to be forwarded to the town clerk. There's a rule about making, you got to have a schedule in place before 30 days before you establish or before you have a meeting. So what we've been doing in the last couple of years is putting in a January date. So I already last year submitted a date of January 19th, 2022 for our next meeting anyway, and then we'll go with the third Wednesday. Okay, any other old business? Okay, new business, communications. There's I got a big packet of stuff informing us that the cell tower on, where the heck is the thing? On
Daleville
Daleville Road.
Road.
Yeah,
Front
343
Purchase
Daleville
property.
Road. Yeah, Apparently, there's already a tower there, but they're looking to raise it another 56 feet. So I guess they're.
That's sort of, it's on Daleville Road, sort of across from the entrance to Willington Oaks, I believe,
Yeah.
that area.
Yeah, right. So I have a packet, if anyone wants to look at it, it's about 3/4 of an inch thick of tons of information and construction specifications and a ton of photographs from all different directions and angles about the what it might look like from 25 different areas surrounding that. So,
However, Pete, I'm very grateful for the box. It was a perfect size to ship 3 bags of dark chocolate pecans to Salt Lake City. Saved me a lot of trouble trying to find a right size box. So,
Good. All
at
right.
least it serves some purpose
occasion. Yeah,
anyway.
yeah. All right, so anyway, we got that notification, but I don't know as I particularly want to get involved with that. If anyone else does, I'll be glad to pass on the materials and you can look it over and make a recommendation to the commission here about what we ought to do.
Well, it's practically on the borderline with Mansfield on that part of Daleville, and so it's the impact on the town as a whole, I think, is minimal. Anyway,
But, yeah, another 50 feet. The one that's there is, what is it? It's 155 feet. Yeah, now, and they want to go up another 56 feet, but anyway, got a second email from Yukon Extension's Grown Connected presentation. Somebody at Yukon, Joy Tyler, about reaching out to towns, Yukon Extension, about Grown Connected, a local farm food program that designed to support local agriculture by increasing the consumption of locally grown goods by local communities. So they're promoting this, and they've already been working, as Jackie knows, I guess, working with Bluebird Farms, Ghost Fawn, Homestead, and Willow Valley Farm. They've are interested in I guess doing a presentation for any groups or organizations that would be interested in and listening to that and seeing what they're about and whether there's anything that those interested could do to promote it. They say they've delivered free copies of the Guide to Farm Fresh Food in Northeastern Connecticut to the library for distribution through, free copies. I don't know how big it is. And she also provided an electronic link to the guide that I have here. So I don't know if you want to comment on that at all, Jackie, about what,
Yeah,
if anything, they're doing.
If you've seen like just the CT grown labels that Department of Ag used to have, it's kind of a specifically for Northeastern Connecticut. They just made their own label. But yeah, they've been making the farm fresh food guides, which are a pretty good extensive guide to all the farms in the Northeast Connecticut region, and contact info and like whether they have a farm stand or CSA. But yeah, other than distributing that, I don't know what else we would really need to do as a commission. Or I mean, we don't need to distribute them either. They have put them out at the library and other places. So
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you, Kathy. You're on mute, Kathy.
Do you know if anything goes into the Willington Wire, Jackie, about the program?
haven't looked into it now. My guess is that there's nothing in there, but yeah, that might be something to look into. I don't know how it could be incorporated. Maybe just mentioning, I think there's a link online for
Um,
guide. So.
If you or somebody from that group is interested in writing something up, maybe we could think about putting it in the wire for would be April edition, I think. Because we need to get our next Willington Wire information in by the end of this December, which would be for January, February, March. And then they'll require the next draft to be done by probably the middle to end of March, huh, Pete?
Yeah.
So it'll
I
go
think
out
so,
for
yeah.
April.
Right.
So if
Well, maybe we'll have
we
our
could,
tour schedule done for then as well. We could do an article about
Yeah.
the farm tour and mention that North.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right.
because
I
we
think
could
the spring
feature
would
it
be Good.
under conservation news or something.
Yeah, I'll try to work on that.
Pete, do you remember, which one of us did the budget request last year? I can't remember if I stuck you with that last year. I don't remember last year.
I think I did, yeah. Right now, I think as I mentioned the last meeting, it's the CIP is due by the end of this month, but we've decided that we're not going to do anything there. I haven't got any information yet about the budget, regular budget at this point. I think I patched something together very simple
Yeah, I think you,
last time. I didn't have the spreadsheet, be able to manipulate the spreadsheet they sent, but I cobbled something together and got it in. Or I think, but
where I was, whatever, but anyway. Yeah, I think, but I was just trying to remember the timing because they usually want it 2 weeks ahead of when it's
Right,
on their schedule. And I think
yeah.
that's usually February, but I was just wondering if we ought to give any preliminary thought to putting in a larger budget request, but that might depend partly on the results of your meeting with Erica on
Right.
Friday.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
just maybe we'll just talk amongst ourselves. I just want to make sure that we don't have, well, probably January 19th would be early enough.
Yeah,
Do you
yeah.
recall-
So, they said I've got nothing from the office, just a notice from America about CIP stuff in.
Yeah, right.
At this point, so.
Well, I'm glad we're not putting a CIP request because they always make it due right around Christmas. And
Right, yeah.
which is very annoying.
Yeah. Yeah, Kathy?
Hey, Peter, maybe one of the suggestions I'd like to make is that if we can find the budget request for this present year from last year.
I have a copy.
Okay, if it's in a format that can be edited too, if Peter has it, if he did it, whichever, if yours is editable.
I think I got it from Pete.
Okay.
I always keep a copy of the request.
Okay, so what I'd like to suggest is we
Green tab
send it.
is for money in my notebook, so it's easy to find. Yeah, I have a copy of the narrative. And what they often do is send out a spreadsheet, but I don't know how, I don't remember. They may have some problems because of the new computer software may not allow them to do the same kind of thing that they've done in the past, which never was very helpful anyway. So.
Well, what I was going to suggest is if you or Peter could send it out to all commission members before our next meeting, so people, especially our new people, can see the different items we typically request money for, and everybody can start to think a little bit about, there may be some other ideas that people have about what we could include in the budget, but if they at least have that as a draft,
Yeah, well, let me see what I've got. I'll see if I've got it on. I may not have it on my computer. I might have talked to Pete. The other thing I can do is I have this budget worksheet thing that I've done for years that shows what we budgeted and what we spent in different categories. Memberships and conferences, mapping and natural resource inventory was not applicable every year, but parks and open space outreach and other. So that, I have that spreadsheet which shows what was budgeted, how we actually spent our money. But, you know, the Board of Finance never looks at what we actually spend our money on, and that's variable. It depends on circumstances, where the needs are, and that sort of thing. And, you know, sometimes we spend a lot on conferences, sending people to conferences, and sometimes people said, I've been to enough conferences, I don't want to go, but there are opportunities for people who are new to the commission to go to CACAWIC or CLCC
Yeah.
kinds of things. So, you know,
which is usually in the fall. And so we don't know if they'll be doing it in person or remote next year.
yeah.
Yeah.
They did have one, but I didn't think to go online looking for the forms, and you know, it's actually, they have email contacts that could at least send out an email saying, we all want you to pay your dues. How about looking online for a form? But
No.
the first time I looked at CLCC, they didn't have a form for this year, but I later found one that didn't have it was not date specific, year specific. So I downloaded that to send off the CLCC membership form. So, I mean, there are various things I can do, but I will check and see if I've got that, Peter. Maybe you could check and see what I'll sort it out with Pete. See what we can get out to people.
Okay, good.
So we should put that on the agenda for next meeting,
Yeah, I
under
think so.
Yeah,
old business,
Um,
so we can vote
Well,
on it.
Right. Actually, you know, and actually maybe we should be putting that on the top, doing new business, and putting that right after the finance thing, or bring it up under finance, so that we can, because that's probably the issue that will be most important at the January meeting anyway.
sure, yeah,
Switch that around, so
yeah.
so it
I
goes
would
on
say,
the agenda.
I would say, why not? And,
I'm of the opinion that when we know we have something that of substance that we have to deal with at a meeting, that we have the new business at the top, whereas the old business tends to be reviewing or you know, status reports and that kind of thing. It's always useful I think it's better to do new business items toward the top of the agenda when we're all fresh, and not saying, is this meeting ever going to get over? You know? So to give our full attention to the most important matters.
Yeah.
I would
Okay.
actually make a motion that we put new business, that we switch the position of new business and old business on the agenda as a matter of routine.
yeah, well. yeah,
Just
it's,
a thought, but
A lot of it, yeah, you're right. A lot of it is just follow-up. Well, it has to be, because it has to have been discussed before, or there wouldn't be old business anymore, but
yeah. And
sometimes it's something that's come to the table and with new information and new decisions to be made once the topic was broached prior, but
well, you can always, and regular meetings, you can always add to an agenda anyway. So if we,
But where does it go, Carol, when you add to the agenda? So if you've passed new business and you start to discuss old business and somebody says, oh, I've got an item that I think should be added, can you add it at that point, or can you only add it before you do new business?
I don't know. You can, I know you can, I don't think it matters. I think it requires a vote. Hang on a second. Let me see if I can find my little FOI thing. That's my.
Well, I mean, we
Yeah.
don't have to
No,
answer
sorry,
that
I'm just
question.
looking
Yeah.
to see, but I think in regular meetings, you can add to an agenda. You cannot add to the agenda of a special meeting, but
Right. But
Yeah.
where does that new item go under when you're reporting it under the minutes? Do you know if it goes under new business?
new business, or actually that could be a question that could be asked at the beginning of the meeting, is that if anybody is aware of anything they want to bring up that's not on the agenda. Let me think.
Well,
and
under
it still could be old business, you know, that's being brought
Right.
up, that wasn't
Oh,
on the
sure.
agenda, as well as
Um,
new business too, so
Yeah, it's, but I just, I just feel that sometimes that we end up toward the end of a meeting, dealing with something of importance at a point where we're all a little bit tired and having trouble sometimes putting together the wording for motions and that sort of thing. And if we were to deal with things of substance that are new toward the beginning of the meeting, it might be useful. Not making a motion, just suggesting.
Okay. Well, we want to leave that for tonight or actually try to decide that. I don't have any suggestion one way or the other, or inclination one way or the other.
Well, you're not really supposed to vote on anything that's under new business. So if we're
I don't think
discussing,
that's necessarily true, Kathy.
you can vote on things that's under new business. I thought you could
I think
not.
I think the regulations for the regulatory agencies are different in this, that like planning and zoning may have to, they have a process that they follow that's
Right.
regulated by state statute, but we're only an advisory body. So I don't see any reason why, if there's a new, something has come up, that it can't be voted on at the meeting, particularly if it's warned in the agenda. And sometimes things occur, between, or if we know we're going to discuss the budget, that could be under new business.
Well, if it's mentioned as new business, that's one thing, other than just, under other, someone brings something up that involves expenditures of money, and then that may not be.
No, that could,
something
yeah,
that
but that,
could
I'm just thinking of things when it's something new of substance that requires input from the full commission, that it, and we know about it ahead of time, it could go on the agenda under new business, and things can be added by, and I think it requires a 2/3 vote of the members present. But I'll look into that more,
Yeah, okay.
the FOI regs. But I
Okay.
think it's, I don't think it's a problem to add something to an agenda, and I don't know if it matters whether it goes under new business, old business, whatever.
Well, again, I'm just wondering whether if it's something that involves expenditure of money that, theoretically, somebody in the town may want to be interested about, and not so much with us as with the regulatory agencies, but in any case, well, okay, you can maybe research at that.
Yeah, I'll
and
do
then
a little
we can
bit of
take a look at
research,
that,
but-
Carol. Yeah,
Yeah,
that would be good.
Yeah,
That would be
just,
good.
I think it's important to put the new things toward the
Yeah.
top of the agenda. so
Okay.
we'll Give us our best attention to them.
Yeah, we hear you. Okay, any other new business? Next meeting then is January 19th, 2022. And, okay.
Lot of tutus.
Tutus.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, it's like a ballet, it feels like a ballet class. Okay.
Yeah.
All right then. Well, hope everyone has enjoyable holidays.
Same.
Hope Santa Claus is good to everybody.
The only problem with these remote meetings is we can't pass the chocolate around.
no
We get
chocolate,
festive at December meetings. So,
No
which is
no candy
unfortunate.
canes, no nothing.
No cider.
No
All right,
cookies.
folks.
All right, everybody.
I'm gonna pause or end the